So this monitor is going to give you a much clearer picture of what you're shooting and how much of it is in focus. And then we're going to use that small rig mount that goes on the camera, but you can attach a lot of other things to that small rig mount. It's very versatile. You can use it for microphones or other equipment. So for example, you can point the camera completely vertically up, but then the swivel monitor will allow you to view the screen at a comfortable angle. You'll connect it directly to the camera, so it'll share input with the screen. And then when we turn on our waveforms, you can see pretty much the entire range of color coming into the camera, or you can select specific waveforms to track. And then everything you see there highlighted in green means that the image is in focus. You see it goes away when I move the camera around. And then this last little visor that goes on top really helps eliminate all of the glare and other like sunlight on the screen. So this is the clearest image, the clearest way to see what you're filming is with the monitor. And then this cage attaches directly to the bottom or the base of the camera using that little magnetized key at the bottom. You can rig all sorts of microphone or monitor otherwise attachments onto it, but for these purposes, we'll use the Scorpion or the grip or the Steadicam handle. Um, you can attach it towards or away from you, but you'll see it gives you like a much smoother range of motion when you're using the camera when it's not on the tripod. And then this is one of our shotgun microphones. It's best to always use this sort of microphone to record sound rather than relying on the camera audio. It comes with a wind reduction cover, which is that fuzzy cover you see, and it's removable. I just recommend keeping it on. And then the batteries go in at the base. This is our only Sony shotgun. It's a little bit larger, but each of the backpacks has two of the smaller Rode shotgun microphones. And then we have three standard options for lenses. So apart from the zoom lens that's on that camera now that I'm taking off, we have our second option is the Sony macro lens. And then when switching the lenses, you always want to keep that sensor covered. But this is a good lens for close-up shots of very tiny things, as you'll see. So just increasing kind of like the range of shots we can get. And then when shooting outside, there are two types of filters that should be attached to the lens, and these are stackable. The first is a UV filter. This filter is always going to go on first. It eliminates a lot of the sunlight and glare and like weird sunspots you can get. And then the second filter is the ND filter, always going to go on last. The ND filter allows you to manually change the exposure. So you wouldn't have to do any internal camera settings to change how it looks. You just rotate that dial at the front and you can make create a lighter or a darker image. So this is good for adjusting in sunlight. So this is a lens adapter. So this allows different types of lenses to go onto the Sony body that aren't Sony lenses. For example, we have a Canon prime lens. So this adapts it and makes it usable on the Sony, basically. Um, so the prime lens is a really good option. It's just our third option lens. It's a fixed focal length. So when you move towards or away from an object, you can't zoom in or out, but you have to manually adjust your focus every time to get that clear picture. But it's a good option for things like interviews or large frame still shots. So yeah, we have a few new lens options. I think the monitor is a really great addition. Um, and then that Steadicam. These are also all tools that I'm going to be using personally.